Hey guys, it's your girl Mimi, and today we're going to be talking about transitioning into a new field if you are in a different country, not necessarily Canada, but let's say you migrate to a new country and you're looking to kind of, upskill. That's what we'll be talking about today, and I have my dear friend here.
Yeah, I'm Sammy. My friends call me Smart.
I prefer smart
Whichever one works.
because you're smart.
I appreciate it. Either one works.
Now, to business, I'm going to ask you a lot of questions.
Okay.
So you moved from Nigeria to Canada.
Mm-hmm.
What you were doing in Nigeria, is that what you started doing when you got here?
I've done a lot of career transitioning because for me it's more about like optimizing my income.
Yeah.
I don't like to put myself in a box, and for instance, I started off in oil and gas. So I have a degree in mechanical engineering. I got a job with Baker Hughes. Actually, I'm not going to call any companies' names on this platform unless they pay us. So,
That's smart.
but yeah, I worked at a company, an oil and gas company, as soon as I left school. And I did that for, I want to say, 2.5 years or thereabouts. And then I got laid off when, the oil prices came. And, like, the handwriting was clear on the wall that, oil and gas is phasing out. Like, people were trying to transit to cleaner energy.
Right.
And so, like, all of these fossil fuels will not be around in the next couple of decades. I don't know. So I pivoted to tech. My friend and I built a political campaign management software, and so my job was to sell it because I couldn't build software back then.
Okay.
But I had people skills, so I went to Abuja and I was talking to our politicians
To buy.
to buy the software. I have not put anybody in power that's that impoverished the people. Let me just put it out there first of all. Yeah, I'm not contributed to the problems of Nigeria.
That's
but,
good to know.
I sold that software, and that was how my career in tech sales and tech period started.
Okay.
And then just because like back and forth between the customer and the development team, I would have to take like requirements back to them, say, hey, customer needs this and this features. I started doing a little bit of product management as well, and then I eventually started writing code because if you know how the Nigerian scene is, sometimes you call your software engineer, he'll tell you he's sick, he'll tell you he's not available because he's doing like 2 jobs.
Yeah.
So I had to learn how to write code myself. I got into Google's bootcamp. They came to Africa, Google Africa came to Nigeria rather, and gave us a scholarship through, what's their name now?
It's okay.
I forgot their name, but they're like one of the biggest startups in Nigeria that do like this outsourcing of talent, tech talent. So anyway, I got into that program, and then that's how I learned how to write code. So now like I'm doing both software engineering and tech sales, but tech sales seems to be my forte.
Wow. It looks like most people that, were once, I think there's an easy way for engineers to kind of just transition into tech, even if the engineering you did back then in school is not necessarily tech.
Software.
Because, same thing as my husband once worked with Ohando, now, So, but I think, is there something that you learned in school that was similar to, to the tech that you do now?
So I think for everybody, like as a rule of thumb, every time you're going through school or going through a course or a program, you always hear them say, what's your discipline? So that word is very important because just what you're learning and then putting yourself through those processes, like, hey, I have a project, I have to finish at a certain time. I have to study for this exam. I have to listen in class and understand this concept and internalize it so I can apply it. All of those things are disciplines, right? You're disciplining yourself to think a certain way. You're disciplining yourself to respond to problems a certain way. And so engineering is a discipline, that covers a lot of grounds, including software engineering, petroleum engineering,
Right.
civil engineering, and so like there are a lot of transferable skills that you would pick up going through an engineering program.
I think that transferable skill is the key word here. But I mean, when you moved here, was it difficult for you to find a job not having? Because one of the things that people ask me a lot on my channel is, you know, obviously, and I've seen videos that talked about not having Canadian experience, and I do, you know, I kind of understand how somebody would, you know, why someone would be worried about that. So how easy was it for you to get a job here without any Canadian experience when you came?
So I'm going to be brutally honest, and hopefully I don't know who, you know, this platform will get to, but you come to Canada and you have to pretty much start from scratch. When I came to Canada, I took up this call center job. I was selling phone plans to people.
I did that too.
Cold calling. But I got the job like 3 weeks after I landed. So to me, that was a good thing. I was coming from the trenches in Nigeria. So being able to make even though it was minimum wage or thereabouts, it was like $19 an hour or $18 an hour thereabouts. But it could pay my rent. I had a housemate then, so it could pay my rent. I could flex, you know, go out, have fun with people. I could send money back home to Nigeria. So I was pretty content. Plus I was top salesperson. So like I was making a lot of sales and making a lot more in commission.
Okay.
So I was very comfortable. But I started to get into that space where you feel like you're underachieving. Like, hey, I'm a software engineer.
What am
trained by Google.
What kind of...
I also have like impeccable sales skills. Like these things could be put to much more like I said initially, like optimizing your income. Like you're not going to be able to work forever in your life. Right?
True.
You're young now, so just make as much money as you can. At least this is my concept, right? Make as much money as you can now in your youth, so that when you're older you can just put your feet up and you know, stop working. So yeah, I started to feel uncomfortable with it, and you know, I had to now I quit my job, and then I got into this government-sponsored program that helps people transit from other fields into tech. Now I did that so I could get some Canadian education.
Education,
on my resume, because nobody was like, I would apply to big firms and they would just like not respond, and I felt, you know, I'm doing every other thing right, but it's possibly because there's no Canadian education on my resume, and a lot of people were echoing the same sentiments, so I felt like I was right.
You know, I think that is true, because you know, I worked with, in my previous job, I was working directly with the person who was in charge of hiring, not HR, but you know, like when you have a department and then you have that the person that says, you know, we want to bring this person on board. So he's like the managers of the project managers in that team. And each time we have any openings at all, if he looks at the CV, and personally, because I work directly with him, I would see that if he sees a good CV that ticks all the boxes, but there's no affiliation with anything that has to do with Canada, he would just you know, kind of move it aside. So this particular position that we're trying to fill, they had a deadline when they wanted that person to come, and it didn't look like we're meeting that deadline, right? So he called me one day to review the CVs that we had received, and I saw a Nigerian name. So he circled it with a pen and said he's not sure if this person can speak English. I'm telling you. And I saw the school. I know that this person went to a good school, and almost 6 years experience, you know. Everything else ticked out, had the certifications we needed.
He's not sure he can speak English.
And and I don't blame me. See, when I did the customer service job that I did, some people will call, and because I do have an accent, everybody has an accent anyways, including Canadians.
Yeah, they have a Canadian accent.
Yeah, everyone has an accent. My accent is different. Some people will call because they're already frustrated. They will be like, if they hear my accent, they say, "Can I have someone who speak English, please?" I'm like, "That's exactly what I'm speaking." Like, if I should speak Igbo, you will know. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But my boss, who is a good person, by the way, because I worked with him, so I know that he's not a terrible person, but he still had that concern if, especially when all the names are Nigerian names, like not English at all.
Right.
And I've even seen people go as far as maybe putting their middle name first and, putting how to pronounce them. It's just a lot when you're coming and you're not a Canadian.
Yeah.
So I think that bias is there when you don't have any Canadian education or Canadian work experience, or someone who had worked with like a global brand, like say for example, you might be a Nigerian but you had worked with Google directly. That might do something for you. But if you are not in any of this category, you would experience
you have
this.
no chance. And let me speak to that English aspect, right? So one of the things that, like, the reason I still sound Nigerian, like when I talk, right, to my Nigerian people, but if you hear me speak to a Canadian, like, I sound completely different. And the reason I'm able to pivot like that was because I had to learn it the hard way. Like, I started making those cold calls. Obviously, like, you're calling someone out of the blues and you're on the phone to them and you're telling them, "Hey, do you want to buy this phone plan?" And as soon as they hear your accent and it doesn't sound familiar to them, like it doesn't sound like a local, you just hear click, like they just get off the phone. Right? You're not even getting past introducing yourself, so you have no shot at making that sale. So I had to sit down one day. I listened to like a more experienced salesperson on the team speaking on the phone, and it just clicked to me, bro. Like, change up your accent. Like, it feels like you're selling out because I want to stay Nigerian. I don't want to sound. People will say, "Ah, why are you faking accent?" You're not faking. You're trying to eat.
Survive.
You're trying to eat. Like, you're trying to survive. You're not going to pay rent if you sound Nigerian here.
So for me, I think I don't do the accent thing. Maybe because I've lived, like, coming to Canada is not the first away from home country. This is not the first abroad I'm living.
Right.
So I've lived in a place that is way terrible, and I've seen people who have way worse accents. And people don't care. Have you seen an Indian person speak?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how they pull it off. They're still the top salespeople. They're still like, they still make it in the workplace.
Most of the hiring managers, HR, they are still the one. Even the person interviewing you has this accent. So I personally do not, but I do agree that if I'm trying to eat, I'm going to have to decide between staying original or
selling out
or tweaking my tongue. But the one that I don't like is, even if you want to not have the accent, still be audible. I've seen people try to talk like a Canadian and they sound stupid at the end.
Yeah, they just become ridiculous.
At the end of the day, you want to. A friend here, she's British, and she had this guy trying to ask her out, and the guy would say, "I'm going to church," because he was trying to.
I'm dead.
Because he was trying to say church, So at the end of the day, you want to be audible so that people can hear you.
Yeah, be clear.
Because the way we speak in Nigeria, some words, even our pronunciations normally is not,
intonations, like a lot of things that you have to just like adapt to sounding a little bit like here. But like, you still speak English. Like, we speak English in Nigeria. Throughout your education, you're taught in English. So like, there isn't too much of an adjustment to make. You just have to like learn how to speak proper English, because a lot of our English in Nigeria is like slang.
Yeah. But that's the same thing Americans do though. Like, some Americans don't speak that proper English we learned in Nigeria. They don't even speak it. They still speak their own American slang.
Like the AAV. I think it's called African American Vernacular English. But
Okay, so before we just go, how was that accent? Like, was it easy for you to just switch? Because for some people it is, and for some other people you have to kind of, keep practicing and learning and.
Yeah, it definitely came with practice too. So for me, I've always been like an English nerd. It used to be my strength in secondary school. Like, I was best in English in secondary school. So it was easy for me to say, "Oh, okay," instead of saying development.
Yeah.
'Cause that's how we say it back in Nigeria, right? Development, but it's like it's development because I can see how the stress pattern is
Yeah.
in the word,
Yeah.
and I knew all of those things, and like I was like,
Nice. So just start using it. I might as well just
yeah,
start
just
using
just at least start using what you know already,
Okay.
and so like it doesn't come to you naturally. Like you have to like intentionally think about it initially, but then as you practice doing that, it now comes to you like naturally, and now I don't need to think about it before I say it. So I was making like 100 calls a day.
Okay.
And yeah,
So I mean, I don't know if you'd be comfortable. The program that you did, the government program, is that something that is free? Did you have to pay for it? And if not, if you can give us the name, we can leave it in the link in the description box if someone would like to apply.
yeah, definitely. It's Inception U. I think it's a program out of Calgary, Canada. So it's 14 grand, or it was 14 grand in 2021 September when I got in. But the government gave me a 14K grant.
Okay.
So I applied for the grants through the program because they had a quota. Like they were like, hey, for so and so number of people, we're going to. The government has already made provision for them to go through the program. So that's how I got in.
Okay. Oh, that's cool. So, but what you would advise is anybody coming, because I usually don't think that not having a Canadian work experience or education would affect. This is how I think would affect my ability to get any job. My reason for that is if you're bringing thousands of immigrants every day, people are migrating to this country every day, and none of these people are coming here with any of those. They don't have the experience, neither do they have the education. Because one thing that you're using to qualify the people you're bringing is that you have to have at least a bachelor degree or some form of master's, meaning I would have schooled in my home country before coming here. And another thing when you're doing the whole PR thing is your work experience. So you ought to have at least 3 years or more
work experience
to be able to get more
to be able
points.
to get PR. Yeah.
So that means I've gotten work experience somewhere else. I've gotten my
education, maybe even masters, and you come here and you still have to start from scratch. The one that does my head in is like the doctors, the lawyers who have to come here and then start like a whole
I've seen some just go into tech
or licensing program. It's insane. Like I don't understand what Canada is doing in that regard. But here's what I'm going to say: the system is unfair to us. But there's something my dad used to tell me. He said he would say since the hunter has learned how to shoot without missing, the birds have learned how to fly without perching. Right?
Oh,
so it's like everybody is going to learn how to, like everybody is going to adapt to the situation. So they're doing this to us, and what I've seen people do, and I'm going to put it on here so people can learn, all of that your work experience. There are people you talk to, and they just tell you all of that your work experience. Anything Nigeria, I don't want to see it on your resume.
Yeah, I personally don't even put that myself.
Don't put anything Nigerian in your resume. All of that work experience, call it whatever, international, call it Canada. If you have friends here who work in like a Canadian company, I don't know how legal this is, and I don't know how you're going to go about it, but like make sure that your resume is Canada tailored. I'm not going to go into detail with that. You're going to have to get that specifically from your from your neighborhood.
Another thing that I do talk about a lot on my channel is the importance of a good resume, and I do talk about the fact that Canadian resume also has its own style. I also have some degree from Nigeria, but over time I love to study, so I've got 2 UK degrees as well. So I decided to just remove, when I got here, that's what I did. So I removed my 2 Nigerian degree and just left the UK thing. Because sometimes when I tell people that, I don't get what people are on about with this whole Canadian experience, because I didn't have any issue getting a job. Right. But now that we're having this discussion, I'm now thinking, could it be because so I have a bachelor in finance from Liverpool John Moore University in the UK, and then I have from London Business School. So I'm thinking, could it be because of these 2?
It's definitely because of those 2.
Because definitely. I've been here preaching, you don't need a Canadian degree, you don't need a...
You do. you do. Like, the fact is that you do, but there are ways around it. See, when you come here, just do a diploma or do like a certification somewhere. Right?
I still did the Google Coursera, which is like an 100 hour of study, just to add that to my whatever. Just do something that is related to your field.
Right.
Don't just stick to, and then remove unnecessary things, guys. I'll put a contact if you're looking for someone to like help optimize your resume for you. Okay, I'll put a contact here. You can reach out to this contact for that. And the truth is, I've seen some resume, and honestly, if I was in the position to hire, I wouldn't hire that person.
Right.
Some people put so many unnecessary information that make the ATS to even just
Yeah,
you don't-
filter
you're not even
off
getting
your
to,
resume.
yeah, and if there was no ATS and the resume is even coming in person, I would just exit out. Some you're providing a lot of information that are unnecessary. Others are providing information, like you're not giving enough information about your skill. You're not selling yourself enough. When I look at your resume, I can't I can't say, oh, this is what this person will be good at. So I think that's the issue, because when I talk about importance of resume, I tell you guys that when you submit application, the person doesn't know you. All they have is that
resume,
piece of 1 page or 2 page. That's all you're using to summarize why they should pick you or give you an opportunity for an interview before, or and leave every other person. So your ability to, I worked with MTN when I finished school in Nigeria. When I felt like I needed that experience when I was looking for a customer service job. But what I did, I just put MTN West Africa. Like, I just didn't want that Nigeria to be there, because people already have some form of bias
against Nigeria.
When they just see that it might not even really be Nigeria, against people that they feel like you have accent or communication issue. And we also have a problem with the way we talk. Sometimes I feel like we're too loud, or we shout, so they are not sure about you. So first of all, your resume just needs to stand out in every sense of the word, because all this your village people is not doing anything. Your resume is work, and
you are your village people.
Yeah, and then I've tried before, when I used to offer free consultation. I don't anymore. I charge for it now. But when I used to offer free consultation, I used to do like a mock interview. Just pretend like I'm the person interviewing you, and let me ask you questions, and then you see no confidence. You don't even know, you're not selling yourself well. So I think basically working on yourself and just improving your soft skills and your skills that you're selling, your personality, charisma, all those things means a lot when you're looking for a job in an international community. Okay.
Facts.
Next question. Should we make that one our next topic? Because we want to talk about, you worked with a US company while you're here in Canada. I think we should just make that one a different topic entirely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's actually a different topic called.
Do you have any last word for my audience on how to get a job fast, how to transition fast? You should have the last word since you are the guest.
Okay.
And you do an outro for us. I did the intro.
Which one is outro?
The end of the video now.
What do you say at the end of the video?
You'll figure it out.
All right, now. I think for everybody, like, you just have to pace yourself, give yourself time. When they say, I know not everybody is going to have that whole proof of funds or settlement funds or whatever, and then you come and then you have to like start making an income from pretty much day one. So you can pay rent and like cover your living expenses. So put your expectations high, set your expectations high, but be realistic with like what you're going to get from the onset, like from the get-go. So if it means you have to go and do a labor job, or you have to
survival jobs.
Yeah, those survival jobs, exactly. That's the best
way to put it.
Just be humble.
Kitchen assistant.
Just be humble. Do it, but put yourself on the program in the sense that don't get so sucked into that job that you lose sight of the long-term goal.
Yeah.
Like, give yourself time to still study, maybe get a certification.
Yeah.
Give yourself time to apply to jobs. Put yourself on like targets. Hey, I'm going to apply to 15 jobs every day, and hold yourself accountable to it. A lot of things here in Canada boil down to how you can govern yourself. Like, it's about self-governing.
Yeah.
If you need somebody to come and say, hey, you must do this, you must do that, you're going to go long.
You go.
It will be long for people
You go long.
for people who don't understand that it will be a long wait. And
Right.
so to cut that wait short, govern yourself, give yourself targets, and then just go at what you need. Also, network a lot. Like go on LinkedIn, reach out to Nigerians who have been here for a while. Like just search the job that you're looking for in that search box, and then filter through all the Nigerians that have been in that field for a while.
People are usually happy to help.
Nigerians in Canada are amazing. Nigerians in Nigeria, I don't know.
We are good people too.
Yeah, we are good people in a different, But here in Canada, like they'll be ready to. I can't tell you how many people have jumped on a Zoom call with just to give them some advice that they needed because they hopped into my LinkedIn, inbox. So
should we put your LinkedIn on the screen?
Yeah. Okay. I mean, like maybe right now you won't say anything there because I'm doing a lot of on the G stuff.
Okay.
I have my own.
As long as if someone send a message, you get to.
Yeah, by all means,
connect on LinkedIn.
Connect with me, like reach out.
People don't also connect with me on LinkedIn. They just think I'm on Instagram and YouTube girl. So on YouTube I have like 26,000, and then on LinkedIn it's like 300 and something. You guys, you don't rate me.
Yeah, LinkedIn is a strong tool. Like you will learn a lot from those people. They'll tell you how to go through the recruitment processes.
Right.
Some of them would even refer you because they have incentives to refer people.
You know, that's a very good point that we should talk about the how strong referral is in Canada.
It's
Most
strong.
companies, including the ones that I had worked with, they would rather a staff refer or recommend somebody for them to hire.
Than for them to like go out and look by themselves. They give priority to
my
internal
company will
referrals.
give you as much as $2,000 if you refer someone and
My
they
company
hire the
would
person.
give me 1K if I hire, like if they hire someone through me and the person stays for 6 months.
So you see, people will be happy to even refer because it's aside just doing that for you, they're also going to get
gain
something for it.
from it. Yeah. So as soon as they're sure, in fact, sometimes they don't even need to be sure. Like they just refer and then just like it takes nothing.
Connect. Okay, network. And when you get here too, don't just stick with Nigerian community. That's another thing.
Don't do that.
You stayed 20 something years in Nigeria. Now that you're outside, try to get to know people from other ethnicity. Just find a way to mix up. Don't stick around only. I'm not saying leave your people, but don't stick around.
Don't stick with only the Nigerian community. You're not going to go far that way.
Yeah, and go to job fairs and different. There are usually job fairs where people, companies will come under one umbrella and try to hire people and all of that. Just if you don't network, you can't know. Attend webinars that are free. Use post landing services. I'll try to link some in the description, guys. The description box for you guys. Anyway, don't limit yourself, basically, is what we're saying. So,
Facts.
Do the outro. Let's go to the next topic.
So, this has
Tell them to subscribe.
This has been an amazing time with my friend Mimi, and I hope I wish you guys the best. I don't wish anyone to continue to remain in that country. Cut that part out because people will swear for me if they hear that one. But I don't wish my worst enemy stays in Nigeria. Like get out of there, make progress, and
contribute from here.
Exactly, to your people. I think you're more useful here than in Nigeria where you're struggling with them. But subscribe.
And then 50,000 is the goal. For this year.
We're trying to get to 50,000 subscribers. So go on that, violate that subscribe button.
Yeah.
Share. Send this to someone you think.
Look at you sounding like a content creator. Bye, guys.
I'm a natural, I guess.
Still feel free, Sha. Any parts when
we'll cut. Okay. So we're just going straight, yeah?
A little bit of introduction, maybe. Would you want me to introduce you or you introduce yourself?
How it is.
Okay.
No, actually introduce.
End of introduction, yeah.
What else?
No, you've said it off. So let me just start dishing the question. Yeah, you are. You're Jesus boy, y'all. Forget the dread. It's Jesus boy.
Yeah. Dreaded
like
for Christ.
I feel like okay. Now to business.